Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. Lots to talk about today. We have all sorts of things, but I think probably the most important thing to talk about today is the deep state. I want to talk about the deep state today, right? So, why do I care about this? Why is this an issue? I mean, going back to the origins of the concept of the deep state, we have to understand that the deep state is a real thing. It's been here for a long time. 9/11, COVID, J6, the 2020 steal, all these things, they all tie back to deep state, right? Deep state's greatest trick has been to make us think that deep state itself doesn't actually exist. You're a conspiracy theorist, right? That term is also. But I want to talk about this because the deep state is real and they're moving, and we need Donald Trump to take hard action against the deep state. Now, Trump himself is doing everything and doing it great, but his DOJ, I'm going to just tell you, sucks. I don't know how else to tell you. They suck. No Epstein list, no arrest of anyone significant. Letitia James is the closest thing to significant. Now they're possibly talking about a referral for Cuomo. I mean, this is absurd. This is like the DOJ trying to placate Trump while they're not doing anything real. I think they're playing it. I think the whole thing's a game. And I'm sick of watching this. I'm sick of people telling, be patient, be patient, be patient. There's a plan. There's no damn plan. There was no plan with Bill Barr. There was no plan the first term. The DOJ is its own thing, and they are not getting it done right now. And I think the deep state's interfering. I think that it is. And, maybe I'm wrong, but we're going to explore this today. We're going to explore this conspiracy theory. We're going to talk about the deep state. We're going to get into this. We're going to hit a few other things. There's some really interesting things happening across the news. But really, the number one thing I think that we have to start looking at is the deep state. So we're going to hit that. Before we do, please make sure you support us. GiveSendGo.com/Renslaw. GiveSendGo.com/Renslaw. Please become a monthly supporter. If you can give us a little bit every month, 20, 25 bucks a month, it's a cup of coffee. It's a Starbucks a week. It makes a big difference for us. It's a huge help. We're grateful. It's awesome. And it keeps us fighting. Also, make sure you go to TomRenz.com, www.TomRenz.com. Support us there. Check out everything we got, but especially go up to shop and check out our partners and affiliates page. And you'll see there that we've got Kirk Elliott Precious Metals. I want to urge you to check it out. Gold, silver, strategies, IRAs, rollovers, all sorts of things. Kirk's a smart dude. Make sure you're checking him out. Make sure you're supporting him. Also, make sure you're checking out Satphone and Dulce Sweetener, all of our people. We got lots of good stuff there. But please make sure you're supporting our sponsors. They keep us afloat. All right. So without further ado, I want to get into, by the way, look at this. Look at this. I don't know. They've got some sort of an issue. We use Restream for our show, right? And there's some sort of an issue with Restream where they've got this kind of bizarre, I don't know what's going on with it, but something bizarre going on. So we're having some issue with sources and things like that. But anyways, let's get into the news for the day. Let's get into that because there's a lot happening. Now, before I get into the deep state, I do want to start out with something that I'm going to be honest, I view this as depraved. Okay? This is just so listen, no one accuses me of being in touch with my feminine side, right? I'm okay with my toxic masculinity. I'm okay with who I am. I get it. I'm a big ogre butthole, but so what, right? And I don't mind doing what I got to do. I've had, if you got to shoot Old Yeller, for anybody that doesn't know what that means, please reference the movie. But if you got to shoot Old Yeller, sometimes that's the way life works. And there are things like that do happen. I mean, it's horrible. It's sad. Nobody likes terrible things to happen, but life is tough and there are tough times. And sometimes you have to do things that absolutely kill you that are very difficult, but you got to do them, right? Now, that said, sometimes we as men, on the patriot side, on the conservative side, sometimes we get carried away. Sometimes we get carried away and we lose sight of what we're saying. And I just want to share this post. Hodge Twins found this, and I just think this is important, right? So Hodge Twins found this. So this guy, Hodge Twins, said, "Y'all agree with this?" And this guy says, "I'm okay with as many dead kids as it takes to stop Hamas." You people sound like woke leftists trying to make an emotional argument so you can argue from a position of moral superiority. You might as well put your rainbow flag and pronouns in your bio. If you try to emotionally blackmail me, I will pull your effing card. Literally every single Palestinian can die if that's what it takes to save Israel. How many kids were in Sodom and Gomorrah? God didn't give an F about how many because the number of people who were righteous was zero. Okay, so I don't know this guy, but I can tell you he's a jackass. Here's the deal. If you're actually a patriot, if you're an American, instead of some just small penis weenie that's trying to act tough, you understand that we believe as Americans and we believe as patriots that it's better for 1,000 guilty men to go free than one innocent man to go to jail. That's how our nation was founded. Innocent until proven guilty. Our nation was based on that. Justice was based on that. Everything about what we fight for and stand for is based on that. This is not an emotional argument about whether or not about moral superiority. This is the fact that this guy has a little weenie and is a wuss. He's a wuss. He's trying to sound tough. He's trying to sound like a badass, but it's absurd. I don't care how many kids die. Listen, I don't want any innocent people to die anywhere. I'm all for Israel defending itself, and I get that. But no, I don't want kids to die. I don't agree with a genocide. I don't agree with killing people for no reason. I don't care who you are, where you are. A child that's innocent deserves to be treated as such. And we should take every step possible to protect kids and to help kids. I know what they're talking about in Palestine. I'm acutely aware of it. I get it. There's a lot of bad people and they start brainwashing kids very young. There's a lot of problems over there. I'm also aware of both sides of this argument. I support the Jewish people, but Israel has corruption just like every other country. But this sort of nonsense over here is no better than the pro-Hamas people. It doesn't matter which side you're on. There has to be a certain respect for life and dignity. And if you don't believe that it's better for 1,000 guilty men to walk free than one innocent man to go to jail, I say you're not a patriot. I say you don't love freedom, because that is what our forefathers fought for. And this is someone trying to sound a lot tougher than they are. And I appreciate the idea that we're trying to take a stand against the people who use this kind of moral high ground nonsense from the woke leftist side. But this is the wrong way to do it. And it just is horrific to me. So I got to tell you, I'm calling this guy. I'm pulling his card. I'm pulling his man card. I'm pulling his every card. That's not patriot. That's not conservative. You are going to stand up for kids. I'll tell you what, you want to be a hero? Tell me you'll take a bullet for any innocent kid on this planet. That's heroism to me. Not some little dick weenie who's going to stand there and tell me, oh, I don't care how many kids die because they're that. I mean, that's just sick. That's sick to me. And so this guy gets special notice for I don't know, being something, but it's certainly not something good. I was really appalled by that. So I wanted to hit that. All right. Let's go to this, right? Let's go to this. I want to pull this up real quick. So let's talk about the deep state, right? Now, we got a whole bunch of examples of the deep state we're going to get into. And I'm going to come back to this. I just want to show you this. We got Kennedy, we got deportations, deep state arrest, passing Trump agenda, 9/11, all these different deep state, right? And tons of stuff that keeps coming out on this that indicate that, we're dealing with the deep state. They're a real thing. They're a real problem. We got deep state issues, right? So let's talk a little bit about what is the deep state, right? I want to get into that because a lot of people don't know that the concept of the deep state is a weaponized term. It stems from, some kind of old stuff. The original origin or the concept of the deep state, actually, it comes from a Turkish word, derin devlet, and it's been out there for a long time. The CIA, now, if you look at the fact checkers, they'll say, oh, this kind of really emerged in the 90s. No. It's been there for a long time. The first really American grasp or grab onto the kind of deep state or conspiracy theory type idea came from a CIA memo out of the 60s. And we're going to get to that in just a second. But the idea of the deep state is, and these conspiracy theory concepts, it goes way back. There's stuff talking about this even going back to the 1800s, right? I mean, there's some really interesting things out there. But for our terms, the kind of weaponized deep state that we're dealing with here in the U.S. really, I think, starts and ends with I think there's a very famous memo, CIA memo 1035-960, right? And it's about the JFK assassination. And let me show you what this looks like, because I actually have it here for y'all to look at, right? So this is the memo, and I want to go through this a little bit. And you can see that the JFK assassination system identification form, agency CIA. So this is a CIA document. But trust me when I tell you that this was written, there's a lot of stuff in this that makes it very clear that this was written in a way where they knew that this was going to be something that was, they knew that this document was going to eventually be public, right? CIA knew this, right? So, and you can tell when you look at it. You scroll down, let's look at what this is. Now, this is, they're talking to, in this memo, they're talking about and to people about the Warren Commission and about people questioning the idea that there was more involved with the Kennedy assassination than just a random lone shooter, if you will, right? So here you got it, and we're going to go from the day of our President Kennedy's assassination on. There's been a speculation about the responsibility for his murder. Although this was stemmed from a time by the Warren Commission report, various writers have now had time to scan the commission's report and documents for new pretexts and questioning. Here's the irony to this, right? This comes out in 70. This came out in 76. Full release in 96. Let's see, what year was this actually written? 67 looks like. So interesting to me. It took 3 years for everybody to get through it. Now you had the Warren Commission report came out. You'd have theories on Twitter the next day. Crazy how times have changed. But anyways, so presumably as a result of increasing challenge to the Warren Commission's report, a public opinion poll recently indicated that 46% of the American public did not think Oswald acted alone. This is huge, right? So the CIA recognized all the way back in the 60s that the public didn't believe their crap because they're liars. I mean, it's obvious, right? It's obvious. And so they go on, they say, this trend is of opinion is a matter of concern to the U.S. government, including our organization, the CIA, right? They go on to then, because they knew, this is how you can tell they knew it was going to be public. The members of the Warren Commission were naturally chosen for their integrity, experience, and prominence. They represented both major parties. This is a sell job, right? They knew eventually this document was going to be released. CIA doesn't put anything together by accident, and this was not put together by accident. This was put out to try and, it's part of a propaganda piece, right? So they go on. Moreover, there seems to be increasing tendency to hint that President Johnson himself, as the one person who might said to have benefited, was in some way responsible for the assassination. Now, we now know, Roger Stone's talked about it a lot. A lot of people have talked about that Johnson was likely very much behind this, very much, if not actively involved in some way. So it appears that Johnson, they also note conspiracy theories have frequently thrown suspicion on our organization, God forbid, the CIA, for example, by falsely alleging Lee Harvey Oswald had worked for us. Falsely, obviously that's false. I mean, they just met with him repeatedly. And so the aim of this dispatch is to provide material for countering and discrediting claims of the conspiracy theorists, right? So it's inhibited. So this is where the concept of the conspiracy theorist was first really kind of publicly embraced by a government agency in an official capacity in this country, right? It's not that it wasn't there before. It's not that nobody had ever thought of it, but this was really a major, major step, right? And so they go on and action. This is where they start talking about how to propagandize America. This is a very important section. We do not recommend that discussion of the assassination question be initiated where it's not already taking place. So they want it to die out naturally. They don't want to continue it. They don't want people bringing it up. Let it die if it can. But where the discussion is active, however, addressees are requested to. Okay. So now they're telling everybody what to do. Here's what you do, right? First, this is very important. Discuss the publicity problem with the liaison and friendly elite contacts. Elite contacts, right? Remember how they say that there's no difference between you and I? CIA recognized the elites. And who are the elites? Politicians and editors, right? The mainstream press. Now, this is a problem right now. And this is part of the reason that guys like me and all the influencers are getting attacked so much, because who are the elites? Well, they're mainstream press, the editors, the people with control. One of the problems with X and Rumble and shows like this is that we're not beholden to anybody. So we can report the truth however we want, and we can get more reach in the New York Times. I mean, it's a legitimate thing. It does happen. So understand that when you talk about it, this is a big, big deal that's happened a while back, and you can see that's having an impact. Now, so they want these people to talk to the elites, the politicians and the editors. And they want to point out that the Warren Commission made a thorough investigation as humanly possible. Charges of critics are without serious foundation, so just pretend it's nothing. And that further speculative discussion only plays into the hands of the opposition. Well, who's the opposition? I mean, we're just seeking truth. Who's the opposition? Point out also that parts of the conspiracy talk appear to be deliberately generated by Russia. Communist propagandists, right? They've always got to have a bad guy. They have had a bad guy since the 60s, actually before that, and urge them to use their influence to discourage unfounded and irresponsible speculation, right? No facts, no anything. This is all propaganda. And in case you doubt me, let's go on to the next line. We urge you to employ propaganda assets to answer and refute the attacks of critics. Propaganda, they're outright asking for the use of propaganda to discredit anybody that opposes the official narrative created by them. This is how the deep state works to this day, folks. This isn't a maybe, this isn't a theory, this is just the way it works. I saw it during COVID firsthand. Yeah, I'm sitting here with a government document that shows that COVID's not as dangerous as they're saying. I pointed out, they say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. It is. Why do your documents say it's true? Oh, it's unfounded. Don't trust Renz. He's a conspiracy theorist. What? I'm looking at your documents. Are you a conspiracy theorist? But that's what they did. That's what they did. And that's what they do to this day. Hey, we are investigating Jeffrey Epstein. It'll be out any day, folks. It's coming. We're going to have justice. Look at what we did. We just put that vandal who keyed the Tesla in jail for 20 years. Just think what we're going to do to Epstein people when we get the list done, right? Where's it at? Why? I thought it was on Pam Bondi's desk. Why did she say the Judicial Watch that she didn't have anything on it when they did a FOIA? What's the truth? Huh? So anyways, we got this going on. It's propaganda. They openly say, we want you to use propaganda. So book reviews and feature articles are particularly appropriate for this purpose. The unclassified attachments to this guide should provide useful background material for passage to assets, right? So they're giving them propaganda to send out to the media. The CIA actually created propaganda, sent this out, and asked people to send it to the media, and then tell you that anybody that was questioning their narrative is a conspiracy theorist. Think about that, folks. Does that sound familiar today? Does anybody recognize any parallels? How can you miss it? It's exactly what's happening. It's exactly what's here, right? Now, how do they do it? How do they do it? Our play should point out, as applicable, that critics are. So attack the critics, right? wedded to theories adopted before the evidence was in, politically interested, financially interested, hasty and inaccurate in their research, infatuated with their own theories. So they don't want to address any facts. They don't want to debate with the people who have other opinions. They want to discredit them. You see what the CIA is doing here? You see how the CIA is telling their people to handle this? They give you the assets. They tell you how to discredit. This is a propaganda ploy. This is the government leveraging its power and authority in a way that can be used to discredit and take people down that oppose its narrative. This is information warfare at its finest. 5G warfare, to coin General Flynn, but it's been done since the 60s and actually before. This is just where they explain it to you. I am literally showing you the CIA playbook for conspiracy theory nonsense, for how they're trying to discredit people. That's what's happening here. So look at that's how they do it. In the course of discussions of the whole phenomena of criticism, a useful strategy may be to single out Epstein's theory for attack using attached Fletcher Nibble article and Spectator piece for background. Now, you might want to do some research on what I just said, but I'll let you. I'm going to stay out of that for right now. Although Mark Lane's book is much less convincing than Epstein's and comes off badly where contested by knowledgeable critics, it is also much more difficult to answer as a whole, and one becomes lost in the morass of unrelated details. Okay, now what's the fourth thing? In private or media discussion, not directed at any particular writer or attacking publications which may be yet forthcoming, the following arguments should be useful, right? So they're going to attack. This is absurd. No significant new evidence. Critics overplay the value and ignore things. Conspiracy on large scale is impossible. Critics have intellectual pride, or they attack the critics some more. Oswald couldn't have did this in any other way. I mean, it's just he just he's got issues, right? This whole thing. This is the playbook. The playbook, right? This is the playbook for what the CIA has done. This is the playbook. So now the question is this still happening? Is it stopped? Did we stop it? Now you guys may say, listen, Obama rolled back the Smith-Mundt Act, and so that's why propaganda is happening again. Okay. I have a response for you. Let's look at this. This is Benny Johnson. He pulled this up. I want to play this for you.
Now, if you really want a black pill, then you'll go and listen to the firefighters, the people who are in the buildings themselves, and you'll give the respect to the people who most likely suffered greatly, died of cancer, carcinomas, and so on, that happened to all of these people that inhaled everything after these buildings collapsed. You'll listen to them. And here's what they had to say.
As we were getting our gear on and making our way to the stairway, there was a heavy-duty explosion.
The whole building just collapsed on us inside the lobby.
Was that a secondary explosion?
Yes, it was.
Wait. Secondary explosion? Why is there a secondary explosion? It's a building that a plane crashed into. What's exploding? What is there to explode? What's the secondary explosion?
Yeah, definitely secondary explosion.
I heard a second explosion and another rumble.
An hour later than that, we had that big explosion from much, much lower.
It just went ba-boom. It was like a bomb went off. And another explosion came right from it, just everyone flying.
There were numerous secondary explosions taking place in that building. There were continuous explosions.
No, the first explosion, and there was a second explosion in the same building. There were two explosions.
Okay. Federal agencies that were down there do believe that there was some sort of explosive device somewhere else besides the planes hitting.
What?
There was another explosion that took place in one of the towers here. So obviously, according to his theory, he thinks that there were actually devices that were planted in the building.
You don't hear much about that anymore, do you?
It was a secondary explosion, probably a device either planted before or on the aircraft that did not explode until an hour later.
Then it was those secondary explosions and then the subsequent collapses.
That the FBI most likely thinks that there was a car or truck packed with explosives underneath the buildings, which also exploded at the same time and brought both of them down.
Now, that's the first time we're hearing that. So 2 planes and explosives that were in the building. Is that correct?
That is the working theory at this point.
Did you know?
Wait. Now, folks, secondary explosions? How could that be? How could that be? So if an airplane crashes into a building and you see the explosion, I mean, we could see it. What else is there to explode? Why are there more explosions? Now, why did all of this disappear? Why is it that you have to go to people like Benny Johnson or people like me to hear about what happened? Because if you talk about 9/11, nobody talks about the secondary explosions and nobody talks about Building 7. Nobody talks about. I mean, why did Building 7 collapse? No plane hit it. I was just standing there. I mean, nothing happened to make Building 7 collapse. What made that go down? Oh, but we're conspiracy theorists, right? Go back to the CIA playbook. How do you discredit it? Well, you tell the media what to say. You tell the media this. You tell the media that. So did the Smith-Mundt Act actually have any impact on the CIA and what they do? Well, let's look here. This is a Twitter feed for Deep State, right? Deep State. So let's look. Here's JFK. Yeah, was JFK? I mean, was where are we at on that? Right? Where are we at on that? We see that JFK, and I'm going to come back. I want to go to this Drano thing here in a minute. I want to go to this Drano thing, but because this is really important, but it's going to lead into some other things. But here's Alex Jones. Do you know that that Senator Ron Johnson was actually talking about this? You had Chris Weldon, Congressman Weldon, that talked about this. Now you got Johnson. We're starting to acknowledge that there was a cover-up by Congress people. Congress people are starting to acknowledge that there was a cover-up. Can you imagine this? I thought we had the 9/11 Commission, much like the Warren Commission. Oh, and didn't we have a J6 Commission? What do you notice about this, folks? How has the CIA covered this stuff up over the years? We got a commission. We got the Warren Commission. It was perfect, right? That worked to cover up the death of a president, the murder of a sitting president, folks. They successfully covered up and lied to you about JFK being murdered. Of course they're going to do it again anytime they need it. They did it 9/11. They did it J6. They do it as needed, right? Anytime. So let's look at this, right? Keep going down. By the way, did you see this? See this? The comparison. Controlled demolition versus Building 7. Could those look any more similar? Let me just show you, because Alex Jones did a good job.
We're about to break down the latest developments right now. Ladies and gentlemen, openly announced on the BBC and CNN more than 25 minutes before that the building had fallen in its own footprint from fires. They were given that official story. Reuters put it out early. Some of the reporters that worked at Reuters have gone public saying that.
So this is what happened. It collapsed right on itself. That's controlled demolition, folks. That isn't what happens. There's nothing that happened. I mean, there is nothing. There is no reason. There's no explanation for why this. So, but more importantly than the fact that 9/11, the farther we get from it, the more we realize that it was obviously a setup. The problem is that what do we do with that, right? Well, what we have to do is we have to recognize the Smith-Mundt Act being repealed probably helped facilitate some propaganda. But to suggest that it's ever stopped is nonsense. The CIA, our deep state, is doing this. There is a deep state. And of course, their greatest trick is to tell you that if you believe there's a deep state, you're a conspiracy theorist, right? I mean, think of this, circular. So this is happening. Now let's look down here, because I want to get to some other things. So, well, before I do, understand there is a deep state. It is active. It's been doing things like this covertly forever, and they cover up what's actually happening. Their job is to do, just like I showed you in that report, the CIA report, their job is to figure out ways and to give their elite friends, politicians and media, the tools to manipulate the conversation and to discredit any dissenters. Think about that. Right? Think about that. Think of how nefarious that really is. Okay, so let's go a little farther here, right? Let's go a little farther. One of the things, and by the way, Pete Hegseth, why is it that everything on Signal, everything he does on Signal keeps leaking? How does that happen? How about the Oklahoma City bombing? How about, I mean, we could say Katy Perry in space, but I don't think that's enough to actually care. But yeah, all sorts of things, right? All sorts of things. Now, I want to get into DC Drano and Steve Bannon, right? So let's talk about Bannon here. Well, actually, let's start out with Drano, right? So Drano, it's quite simple. There's three things the mega base wants: mass deportations, deep state arrests, and passing the Trump agenda into law. None of those are done. None of those are being done. Zero. We've accomplished zero. The only thing we've had are some executive actions by Trump, which have had a great impact, but will be undone the second he's out of office. Not one thing has happened since Trump's been in office that's permanent, other than exposing how corrupt our government is. But they don't care, because nobody's going to jail for it, right? It doesn't matter if everybody knows, if no one will do anything about it, right? So in fact, I'd almost say it's more dangerous that nobody's going to jail, because now people are getting desensitized to it. Well, yeah, of course they're corrupt. We can't do anything about it. Well, we need to do something about it. Now let's go down to Bannon, because I think this is really important here. So Bannon says deep state isn't just alive, it's winning. And MAGA's about to explode if there are no arrests soon. Steve Bannon, I agree with you 1,000%. 1,000%. We, the MAGA America, are furious. I'm sorry, I don't care. I do not believe this crap about Pam Bondi needing more time. She ain't getting it done. There's a reason that Bondi sailed through confirmation and Matt Gaetz had everybody and their brother having a stroke. They were okay with Bondi getting in there. Nobody really opposed that. Matt Gaetz, stroke. Absolute stroke by the left. Why? Oh, because he's just a bad guy. Bull crap. Bull crap. They were okay with Bondi, and she's not doing a damn thing. Of course they were okay with her. Now, I don't know if she's corrupt or incompetent. Maybe she's got some super secret plan I don't see. But I'm sick of Bongino and Patel out there telling me every day, oh, trust us, there's stuff happening. No, I don't trust you. I'll trust you when you show me. Show me, don't tell me, right? I like Bongino. I do. I respect him. I like and respect Patel. But I don't trust our government. I can trust it once I verify. But I've been burned too many times. I remember having to wear, people telling me I was supposed to wear a mask. I didn't do it, but I remember people telling me, wear a mask. I remember people telling me, you can't be 6 feet from people. You're not supposed to walk this way in the grocery store. You're not supposed to leave your house. I remember all that. I remember watching innocent J6ers get drug into jail. I don't trust our government. You have to show me something. The DOJ wants to show me something? Do it. I don't give a damn about Letitia James, although she does belong in jail. I'm glad they're doing that one. I want the Epstein list. I want to see the Soros Foundation destroyed. I want to see these political enemies. I want to see corrupt Democrats in shackles. If you did something illegal, I want accountability. If you stole the 2020 election, I want to see it. I'm sick of this BS. Oh, they've got a plan. They've got a plan. I got a plan for you. Get something done. Now, Bannon says it's not just alive, it's winning. He's right. The deep state's winning. Every day that the Epstein list is not made public is another day that the people on the Epstein list are being blackmailed. You think there aren't politicians on that list? You think there aren't high-level people? Because remember, the list isn't just the plane list. It's not just the people who flew to, the Epstein Island. It's the people who went to New York. It's the people that went to Palm Beach. It's the people that went to his New Mexico ranch. It's the people that he had raping children all over. There is no records that we've ever seen on that. Those names aren't out there, right? And anybody could have just driven to the Palm Beach or New York place. I mean, there's no record of that. If you get on the Lolita Express, there's a record. But for the people that were in Florida and drove over there and raped a child, well, there's no record of that. We don't know who's on this list, but I'm guessing it's pretty extensive. And given that Pam Bondi is still sitting on it, I'm guessing there's people that they don't want everybody to know about. These lists have to be made public because there are people who could be in positions of power, who could have access to national security secrets, who are giving those secrets away, who are using their power against the United States because they're being blackmailed, and we don't know it. This is one of the biggest national security threats in history, and the DOJ, the most transparent administration in history, is not doing a damn thing with it. President Trump needs to put a boot right up Bondi's butt, tell her to get off Fox News and get her job done. There's no reason that some of these Epstein people haven't been arrested. Listen, I know what a RICO case looks like. I know how complicated they are and how long they can take to put together. Do you know what it doesn't take long to do? To get the guy who was being blackmailed because he was raping a child on trial. That doesn't take long. Making a few arrests to shut down the blackmail ring so that it doesn't continue. That doesn't take long. It doesn't take long to set an example so that the blackmail stops, so that the bleeding stops, so that the deep state realizes, hey, they're actually serious and going to do something. Just make an example of a few. You don't need every single person on that blackmail list to testify. You can't make a deal with every one of them. Except for if you're Bondi, you might try, right? Right? Why did I say that? Let's look down here. Where'd I got this? Oh, yeah, here. How about this? Tim Walz official who caused $21,000 damage to Teslas will face no criminal charges. Where's Bondi at? I thought she was putting these Tesla vandals in jail for 98 years, but not one that's tied to the Walz campaign. Those guys, they get out free and clear. Why? Politically connected. So why should I have faith that she's doing something with the Epstein list? I want to go back up here to Bannon. So they're not just Bannon went on scorched earth, torching the highest levels of the government for failing to do the one thing their base demands: crush the deep state. That's what we want. That's what we're waiting for. It's what we demand. It needs to happen, and it's not. I'm sick of this. And he made one thing crystal clear. MAGA is done waiting. Bannon unloaded. He's right. If the guys around Hegseth, if there's indictments or investigations going on, and there's no indictments, there's a release of the Epstein files, and there's no investigation of Brennan and the 51. You're not spending your time on that, and somehow it gets diverted over this. It's going to be a firestorm from the MAGA base. He's right. He's right. He says, I think people are fed up with it. I think Tom Fitton gives a lot of frustration that in the first 100 days, we've seen nothing out of that crowd. Zero. And he's right. Saying, I'm not saying there shouldn't be over there. Maybe it is, but there's a Pete Hegseth call, right? And it shouldn't be a DOJ or anybody like that jumping in because you haven't done your primary job, which is to take down the deep state. He's right. Hegseth's dealing with this crap because of the deep state, and the DOJ isn't getting their job done. It's 100 days, and nothing. Not a damn thing. They haven't done anything. I'm sick of this, and I'm sick of people telling me trust the plan. Don't comment on tell me to trust the plan. I don't trust the damn plan. There is no plan. The plan should be to put bad guys in jail. How long do we wait? 200 days? 300 days? Should we give them 2 years? Wait till the next midterm. Then they can tell us that they can't get anything done because they'll have a Democrat majority because they didn't stop the deep state in the first term. There's no time. There's no time. There has to be accountability. And I'm sorry, but Pam Bondi sucks. She ain't getting it done. I hope I'm wrong. I hope tomorrow she comes out and proves me wrong, and I'll apologize on air. I will apologize on air to everybody. I need to see it. I don't trust it. And I don't care how many times Dan Bongino comes out and says, oh, there's stuff happening behind the scenes. I don't give a crap. Bongino, we saw you over and over and over again talk about how day one this should happen, day one that should happen. You are on record 100 times. Dan Bongino, we love you and support you. You're getting used, brother. Do you not see it? There is no reason that there have been no arrests. None. You tell me that we can't get everything done. I tell you, I support that. I get that. You tell me we can't get one thing done. I say you're full of crap. By 100 days in, how many J6ers had Biden prosecuted or dealt with? How many? Did he wait? Was he waiting for the RICO case? I mean, he kept going the whole time, and he sure seemed to make it hell on the Patriot movement. Why can't we start making it hell on the deep state movement? What's going on here? Why is it that we can't accomplish anything, but Biden, Sleepy Joe, who doesn't even know where he's at, with Merrick Garland, the most corrupt AG in history, is just flying through things, right? Bannon is right. This is garbage. This is absolute garbage. And I'm sick of it. I'm so tired of it. I keep seeing this all over, right? The deep state is absolutely real. Absolutely real. And they're doing all sorts of things. All sorts of things. And they're getting away with it all, right? I mean, can you imagine this Tim Walz guy isn't even getting charged? Not even getting charged. How about the feds come in? Huh? Producer Andrea mentions, Hunter getting high and white hats, black hats. Yeah, it's all BS. It's all BS. All we got is a bunch of bad guys that are kicking the good guys' ass because the good guys hire people that are either incompetent or corrupt. I don't know which one it is. But you want a white hat? Put one on and get your ass out there and do something. That's a white hat. Because I don't see any coming. I don't see any. This is absolutely sick. So I looked. And let me tell you what I saw. So I look up, I did a Twitter search, and Twitter really has become the source for a lot of news. I mean, I do a lot of work there. It's a great pulse on what, especially if you want to look at the MAGA side, because MAGA's allowed to speak there, right? So I like Truth Social a lot too, but Truth Social tends to lean more into the fan club side of things. And I love Trump. I'm a fan of MAGA, but I've got to look at things. I got to follow the evidence, right? Because if I want to truly support Donald Trump, I have to watch and not just trust that everything he's doing is perfect. I mean, Trump is brilliant and the guy is great, but he hired Bill Barr. I mean, he's made mistakes. I would say Pam Bondi looks like a mistake right now. So, I mean, I got, part of, if I support Donald Trump and I support MAGA, it's my duty as an American to pay the price of freedom, which is to be eternally vigilant and to try and look for ways to help. One of the things I'm doing is looking at the inaction of the DOJ and what that's going to mean for Trump in the next few years. More importantly, what it's going to mean for our country after he's gone. So that's a disaster, right? So I did a search on Twitter and I looked up Patel, Kash Patel. I wanted to see what they're saying about Patel. So you got some stuff, and there's some fanboys that just absolutely love everything. They won't. It doesn't matter how bad things look. They just tell me that everything's part of a plan and it's great, and it doesn't matter, right? Even though that's quite clearly not accurate, it doesn't matter. So we can look at this, and you got some fanboy stuff. You got some this, that, and other. But and you see some stuff about people. Hey, when is Patel and Bondi going to investigate this or prosecute that? Particularly Elizabeth Warren. But generally, and of course, there's Cassius Patel or Cassius tweets, which are basically Pam Bondi fan club, and we're winning everything, even though we're not seeing anything. But as I look, there's an immense amount of this. Let me read this. This is by Eagle Wings. I don't know who that is. The corrupt Justice Department didn't indict the corrupt Justice Department. Will Trump's FBI, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi go after the crimes committed? I'm still livid over this. Democrats made Trump's presidency a living hell. Obama lied and spied. Hillary is corrupt. Hillary and DNC behind Russian hoax. Comey behind Trump campaign spying. Biden administration obstructs the Durham report. Eagles Wings is right. When are we going to see some action? Because that's what we, the people, want. We're looking for action, right? Now, then you look down, go down a little further. So here is, they talk about Kash Patel, Bongino. This guy says, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and Dan Bongino should know this. And this is a meme, and it says, a good first step to fixing America would be to prosecute the politicians who violate their oath of office to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Yeah, that's kind of what we're waiting for. Anybody going to do anything out there? Anything? Because we're waiting for someone to do something, and it's not happening. We're getting just nothing, right? And I go through, and as I scroll down this tweet, more and more and more, and I see things. Oh, we got captured. Here's a great. Let me show you. This is just unbelievable to me. This is Kash. Captured Hardeep Singh, part of a foreign terrorist gang, here illegally. I don't give a crap. Good. That's your job. I don't need a tweet about every guy you arrest. This is a nothing, right? It's good. I'm glad he's off the street. Great. Congratulations. Move on. I don't want to tweet from you on that. I want to tweet on the fact that you found you're filing a RICO case against the Soros Foundation. That you're going to start prosecuting the people who stole trillions of dollars during COVID and murdered people in hospitals and with a vaccine that's unsafe. That's what I want tweets on. I don't want the FBI director or the AG telling me about some nobody getting arrested. Who the hell cares? Who the hell cares? Where are the raids, right? Remember when they raided Melania's underwear drawer? Where's that? Nothing. Not a damn thing, right? Nothing on that. Now, remember I mentioned DC Drano. I want to go back to him, right? Because Drano says this. Enough is enough. It's time for Trump to consider suspending the writ of habeas corpus to deport the millions of illegal aliens who invaded our country. And he goes on to say that you can do that, which is true. There's precedent for that under the law, right? But here's the problem. Drano is correct, but he shouldn't. We shouldn't even be there. That should have already been handled or managed. You know why it didn't? Let me show you why it wasn't. This is on my tweet, right? So everybody's mad at the SCOTUS for ruling that Trump can't deport the illegals without a habeas corpus hearing, right? Okay. Well, what is this? Let's look at this. This is in the Supreme Court of the United States, all right? So this is the case on the Legal Alien Enemies Act that was there for Boasberg, right? Remember, after this case, Pam Bondi went all over telling everybody, we won, we can deport aliens under the Illegal Alien Enemies Act, right? I mean, no kidding, right? But, here's the but. She won, except for one thing. During this case, she says, the government acknowledges that the 5 named plaintiffs would have ample opportunity to challenge their designations under the AEA if they filed habeas petitions in Texas instead of D.C. Do you know what the SCOTUS ruled? The SCOTUS ruled in the case that everybody's mad about that, hey, they didn't get a chance to file their habeas petitions in Texas. This is what Pam Bondi said the law is. She agreed to this. Her Justice Department, here again, right? Here again, we have, as the government has explained, there is a single exclusive path to judicial review under the AEA, a habeas petition filed where it belongs, right? They go on, they go right here, they all explain. The Pam Bondi's DOJ agreed and told everybody that these guys have the right for a habeas petition. Everybody gets a right to challenge their deportation. Everybody gets a habeas. This is what Bondi said. This is what the DOJ said. They said it. What do you want us to do about that? Right? You're mad at the Supreme Court. I get it. The Supreme Court's got some bad rulings, and this was one of them. But guess what? Pam Bondi's DOJ, in the case that she claimed they won, agreed to and admitted that that's the law. They didn't challenge it. They didn't do anything with it. They agreed to it. That's the worst thing you could do. It doesn't get worse than that. So we're in a position now. Let me ask you this. We talk about the deep state being real. We talk about them, working with their elites and their politicians and their this and their that. Bondi's, great at arresting and going after low-level vandals. Hey, you keyed a Tesla, we're going to put you in jail. Not you, though, because you worked with them walls. But you other guys, you're going to jail. But where's anything significant? Now, everybody tells me there's a plan. Okay, well, I'm presenting you evidence that not only is there not a plan, that they're not doing their job. I just showed you in a court case. I showed you the paperwork that our government filed telling the Supreme Court that their ruling was dead right. Reconcile that for me. Tell me our DOJ is doing a good job. Tell me Pam Bondi's doing a good job. Tell me that Pam Bondi is doing right on this. I hope I'm wrong. I do. I hope I can apologize on air. Say, no, I was wrong. Bondi really came through. The Epstein list is all out. All those guys are going to jail. We stopped pedophilia. We stopped child rape. We stopped the blackmail ring. J6 people, they're good. We've gotten justice there. I hope I can say all that. But right now I can't, because I'm following the evidence. I'm not following some theoretical fairy tale about a plan. There is no evidence of a plan. I mean, don't get me wrong. Trump has plans. He's doing things. He's got big things happening. And I'm sure there are some actions occurring behind the scenes. But I'm going to tell you what. Until such time as I see action, evidence of action, real evidence, not lies. Hey, we're going to have the Epstein list out tomorrow. It's all on my desk. Oh, yeah? Where is it? We don't want to talk about that anymore. I arrested someone for keying a Tesla, though. Looks suspicious to me, right? One of two things is true. Bondi came out and said, you're going to have the Epstein list. We're going to have it out there. Now it's gone. Either the deep state got to her, or she's just that incompetent. And by that incompetent, I mean she actually thought she was going to get this done and didn't. Because, I don't know, too much paperwork. She said she had it. She didn't. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. What I do know is that it doesn't matter, because we, the people, elected Trump for results, and his DOJ ain't getting it there, right? Now, Donald Trump loves firing people. He loves it. You're fired. I mean, he's great. I mean, that was kind of great. I used to, The Apprentice. Right? Remember The Apprentice, guys? Yeah. You're fired. That was like his big thing. He holds people accountable when they don't perform. Sometimes I think it's shoddy the way he's done it, but other times not so much. His DOJ ain't performing. I don't care how many low-level thugs and low-level street gangbangers, things like that, get arrested. We can't deport anybody anyways because the courts aren't letting us. He's getting crushed by the lawfare. Crushed. It's working. Congress isn't doing anything. There's nothing. We've got nothing useful coming out of Congress at all. They're on vacation still, right? They got another week off. I'm sorry, but we've accomplished nothing. It's 100 days and we've accomplished nothing. Talked a lot of big executive orders. Trump and Elon Musk have done just a ton. They've done great work. But we, the people, we got nothing out of this, because guess what? The minute Trump is out of office, whoever takes over is going to roll back every one of those executive orders, put all the spending back in place, U.S. aid, the wasteful spending, all these different things, $50 million for condoms for the Taliban, all that's coming back. We're still moving ahead with saRNA, gene therapy, drugs, other things like that. We haven't done anything to stop any of these people. No one's going to jail, and nothing is happening. And I'm not trying to be a negative, a downer, or depressing, or anything of the sort. I'm just following the evidence, folks. And the evidence is real straightforward. The evidence is that Trump is being opposed by the deep state in more ways than I could possibly count. Donald Trump is continuing to be undermined just like he was in his first term. And if Donald Trump doesn't wake up and shift gears, Donald Trump is going to get done with his first term, and he's going to have as many problems as he did after he finished his first term, right? He's going to finish his second term, and when he gets done, he'll have as many problems as he did when he finished the first. The deep state isn't going to forgive him, so if he don't break their back, they're going to come after him, right? They're going to. So I'm hoping that we can get Trump to hear this, that we can get some pressure, we get some things done. I'm going to tell you right now, there is no reason that I can possibly think of for not one person to have been arrested. Not one. There needs to be a statement made. There needs to be a show that we're serious. There needs to be a demonstration that we're breaking the deep state's back. And right now, we ain't doing it. The executive orders are largely being blocked by the courts. And until you start arresting key people and making an example of them, it ain't going to get better. I don't want to suspend the Supreme Court. We don't need to. The Supreme Court did the right thing. The Supreme Court did exactly what they were supposed to do in light. And don't get me wrong, Alito, Thomas, their dissents are brilliant. They're right. I agree. So I can't say they're doing the right thing, but they're doing what the DOJ capitulated to. They're just saying DOJ said it. Okay. It even says so in the ruling. DOJ expressly agreed to this. Nothing that we're seeing is a surprise. It's exactly what you'd expect. And until Trump takes some steps to get his DOJ to function in a coherent way, this will continue. The DOJ is not playing lawfare, but the left is playing lawfare with it. Trump doesn't understand the lawfare game, I don't think. If he does, he sure as hell ain't playing it very well. At least not from the outside. Again, my greatest dream will be that I can come on next week and say, guys, you know that show I did? Man, was I wrong. Look at what they did. They just rolled out a giant RICO case against Arabella, against the Open Society Foundation, against I don't know, pick your deep state operatives. That would make me happy. I'd love to be wrong on this. But you're going to have to show me some evidence, not tell me to trust some make-believe plan that I can't prove anywhere. Thank you all for listening. We will be back very soon.